Okay, so welcome back to another episode of Everquest Old School. I'm actually about to level up to level 5, and I wanted to go ahead and start it up a little bit early and make sure you guys didn't miss it. I may just end up editing this part out, but I know a lot of you guys like to see the gameplay. I know that's what I was watching for when I watched some of the other ones online. Is just to see the way it used to be, the way that the game was, and just watching people kill stuff was actually pretty interesting. I grew up with a lot of brothers, so I didn't always get to play the game. You had to take turns, and you actually learn to enjoy watching somebody else do it rather than always doing it yourself. Although playing is very enjoyable as well. So this video will be for you guys who enjoy watching and obviously want to see me level up. I got about 3 bibbles, which is the little blue line and not the bubbles, worth of leveling, which will probably be another 20 or 30 kills, so we'll see how that goes. But as you can see, my armor was upgraded for those of you who may have missed a few episodes. A very, very nice young woman character anyways swung by and just gave me and 3 other guys some armor pieces just out of the kindness of their hearts, so it was very nice. As you can see, it's kind of yellowish. It's bronze. As you get different armor, it will have different looks. I mean, it's not going to all look like that, thankfully, because it's not exactly the favorite color or anything like that. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I am just picking up as many creatures as I can, and then I'll turn around and just kill them all. As a creature hits you, if you don't have anything selected, it will automatically target them. So as these guys die, you don't have to try to click through that mess. If you don't care which one you kill in what order, you can just click your little auto attack button down here on the bottom and let your guy beat him to death. As you get into groups later on and you're the main tank, obviously cleric's not going to be that, but if you are say a Shadow Knight or a Paladin or something like that, you're going to want to try to kill the creatures that are the most dangerous first. Usually the healers, because they're just a pain in the butt to have to beat down a tank or something like that and then have the healer just sit there and heal them all back up again. And plus, healers are usually pretty good wimps against an entire group anyways, and they don't have a lot of hit points, and you can hit them pretty hard and kill them. This little spider is pain in the butt, but you also see, I haven't mentioned it before, but you also see how they run away. Down here in this low level and in this area where you're out in the open and a lot of things aren't aggro, that's not a big deal. But in groups at higher levels, when you start camping, say a room full of mobs, and there's a name guy who spawns there, and you guys end up just killing the stuff in the room and leaving the stuff outside the door, to pop because you guys can't get to it in time. That would be very, very dangerous. If it goes outside the door, you're going to aggro all of those creatures, and those creatures have a tendency to be close enough to aggro the creature next to them. And so you can see how that will turn into a chain reaction of creature after creature after creature aggroing itself. Now, it doesn't do that too often where you'll pull like an entire hemisphere of a zone or something like that, but it is something that can happen. The paving isn't always the best in the game. For those of you who don't know what paving is, it's the path that the creatures walk on. It's the invisible path that they take when they walk. It doesn't look as noticeable out here when you're walking. When they come after you, they usually just come after you in a straight line, but as you get into other zones, you'll notice that they actually seem to... Oh, there you go, I got another alcohol thing for you guys. They actually seem to take a certain path. going around corners, not necessarily always the most logical path. And you can actually use that paving to your advantage, but most of the time it just gets in the way. It causes accidents that you did not plan for your pool when you're doing it. It literally can quite wipe out your group because of the paving issues. So it's something you're going to have to learn and get used to in certain areas, or just avoid certain areas completely with bad paving. They're pretty good about fixing that in original Everquest, and in this game, which is, you know, the emulator of the original, I haven't seen any bad paving issues. But I would not be surprised if they were there, if they crop up. It would surprise me very, very much that they were managed to get them all out of the game. That would just be amazingly shocking. But we'll see how that goes. But if you are like a Shadow Knight, has, I think, Dooming Darkness and hit that line of spells, and a Druid has Snare. I think Rangers may have something as well, and a few other classes may as well. But you cast those spells on the creature, and it slows their movement speed down. And what that is they can't run away from you either at all, or their run, which when they're hurt becomes basically a walk anyways. You cast that on them, and their run becomes a walk with just the spell. So basically you're taking their run from a walk to a crawl. And if you can't kill it in that amount of time, you know, you throw a root onto it and stop it right in its tracks. If you still can't kill it, then there's issues there. That should be pretty easy. Especially considering you don't always have somebody with Snare in your group. So as a healer, you may need to keep your root up. And our root sucks, but it's better than nothing. I'm going to go ahead and drag a whole bunch of these guys again. Actually, I'll heal myself first. I actually got a new spell here. I have no idea what it does. It had a very long recast time. When I first put it down, you have to wait for the recast time to come up before it ungrays itself out. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and try casting that real quick just to see what happens. And here are my stats over here so you guys can see if anything changes. I didn't see anything change, and it looks like it's going to wear away pretty quickly, so... Oh, it's I can't attack with that spell on. So I must be... it must be some kind of like invisibility or invulnerability spell where with it on, I'm not taking any damage. It's actually kind of a nice spell on a group. A bad situation, cleric kills too quickly or something like that, needs to take some hits without dying. Because when you're getting hit, you can't cast anyways, not at a higher level. They're going to be hitting you so hard, they're going to be interrupting your spells. You'd be lucky if you get one off, and the mana you waste trying to get it off while being interrupted is not usually worth casting it, unless it's like a dire situation. You really need to heal the tank or something, or yourself. Now you do get area effect spells, and an area effect spell for this situation where you're out in the open would be kind of nice, because you could hit all these creatures. You know, sometimes it's targeting you as the area effect, so everything around you would get attacked. Sometimes it's targeting the creature that you have on, so everything around the creature would get hit. Those are kind of nice spells to have at this little area right here, but as you start getting into groups and you start doing zones and stuff like that, it's definitely not always going to be an option to use those spells. A lot of those area effect spells will go through like floors and ceilings and aggro the stuff all the way down below. And like I said, when they come for you, they bring everybody they pass most of the time. So you won't just get the room underneath you. You'll get the room underneath you and every friggin' guy they pass on the way back up to you. So you get like 60, 70 guys coming to you that will all hit you at the exact same time. It will just look like a blur. It will be what they call a train. And you will not survive it. I've never heard of anybody surviving, like 60 or 70 mobs like that, unless they're just too low for you to get experience off of them anyways, and then I don't know what you're doing there. Unless you're just camping the name guy or something like that, and then you shouldn't be using area effect anyways. So just be aware of that. Area effects are nice in the open, not so nice in cramped, closed conditions. That should be kind of obvious anyways, but figured I'd go ahead and mention it for you guys who may have just not realized that. And I am almost there. I got one bibble left. If I can pull another 5, maybe 6 guys, we'll level. And you'll get that little delicious little ding. And then I have another almost like 10 spells, I would say. 5 or 10 spells that I get at level 5. So, including a new healing spell, which will be kind of nice. The healing spell I had, it's okay. I mean, it's a level 1, obviously, but it just was not doing it yesterday when we were in a group and we're getting hit, or they were getting hit pretty hard anyways. It just didn't, it seemed to be breaking even. I was able to heal them fast enough that their life wouldn't go down, but it wouldn't go back up either. And as a cleric, that's no good. You need to be able to heal and sit back down and meditate for more power. And if you're constantly standing up just casting, not only are you sucking a great deal of hate your direction, and they may just end up coming over there and smacking you upside the head, but you can't meditate, you can't get any more power, and you're going to run out, and then your group's going to die. So it's definitely important that you have a good enough heal. At the same token, you want to make sure you have more than one heal up. The higher level heals that do more healing obviously are going to take more power, more mana. And so when you're in a group, you want to make sure you send out your tank at full life. I can't believe that didn't level me. When he goes out to pull, you want to just make sure that he has full life. And he won't always need a huge heal. He may come in and he may be buffed out, or the creature you're fighting is just weak enough that it didn't cause a great deal of damage. So you're like, I don't want to waste all that power on doing a complete heal when he's only down a bubble of life. So having different kind of heals, a minor heal and a complete heal, and the supreme heals and stuff like that do different amounts of healing, is something that you definitely want to have. You also want to know how much health they heal, not just on the bubble of a tank, but period, because a tank has a lot more hit points than a caster. And so what heals a tank for a bubble of health will, chances are heal a caster for 2 or 3 bubbles of health, maybe more, for like a wizard or something who has really crap health. So you may need just a really, really crappy heal that you would never use on anybody, just meant for the casters. But you also want to keep in mind that just because it heals less doesn't always mean it's going to use less power. It's usually the case, but sometimes it's just so close, you're like, I can heal this guy for that amount, or I can use an extra like 2 power and just heal him for like 3 times the amount. He doesn't need it, but why waste the space, spell space on something that's so worthless, So I usually have 3 heal spells, a small, a medium, and then complete heal, which is the largest that you can get pre all the expansions that came out. I think they upped it. I'm really close. Wish I could take that guy on. And you'll hear the music change as you explore the zone. As you get further over to the orcs and Caladron, it will turn real creepy. And I guess I probably should attack. But yeah, it will get real creepy music, and you'll get like all these little special effects, sounds from the monsters in the area, and bats and wolves, and just like the whole creepy vibe, you know, goes to like a 10. There we go, guys. It's probably a little bit longer video than I would have hoped. I may edit some of that out, or I may just leave it whole. But yeah, welcome to level 5. I guess I'll let you guys watch while I'll do these spells real quick, and you guys can see what I get that's new. Granted, I have no idea what any of these do yet. I already have that spell. Oh, that's the one I got. That's right. I got that for completing the bone quest, so I was gonna say I wasted money on buying something I already had. Now these scribe pretty fast into the book. When you put them onto your spell bar, sometimes the miming of that can take a while. There we go, skeleton. And I'll show you the spells in a second after I get done killing this guy. There we go. So I'll end up selling that spell, or giving it to a low-level cleric if I can find one. So here you go. You got Cure Disease, Cure Blindness, and Light Heal. And Light Healing is going to be the upgrade to the healing spell I already have, which is Minor Healing. I'll actually show you the difference between the two as far as stats go. And you see mana cost is 10. Mana cost on this one is 25. So it's more than double. The casting is also 2 seconds, where the casting on the lower level one is only 1 second. The complete heal one that I was telling you about is 10 seconds long. In a fight, that's a long time to cast a spell. That could get interrupted at any moment. You really have to know what you're doing to use that spell. So that's another thing to take into consideration, is just the casting time. I'm going to use it anyways because it's better, but in fact, I'll put it down here now. Just left click it, put it over there, and you see it's a lot slower than when you scribe it into the book. You got summon drink, which is kind of nice. I don't have to keep going back and buying food and water. I can summon some crusty old burned bread. I don't know why clerics are always burning their bread, but it's burned bread. And then gate will take you back to your bind point. Wherever you die, or I mean, when you die and you appear back at your bind point, that's exactly where this will take you. Back to the bind point. No idea what this is, but it has a little red thing around it, so I'm thinking it might be an upgrade to my attack spell. Holy Armor looks like a buff, and Reckless Strength looks like a buff, so we'll go ahead and try this one as well. Take rid of that one. Okay, so it's better. Now, if you want to find out if it's an upgrade to a spell that you already have, you could either go look it up online, or you can just cast the old spell. Let's see, I already have that up here. It's courage right there, yeah. So I'm going to target myself and then cast the new one. If it overrides the old one, then it's an upgrade. If it stacks with it, then it's a new one. So that one's stuck. That one actually increased my AC, because courage increases your hit points. So that's kind of nice. Those are 2 buffs that I can have now. What was the other? I also have lull here, which you can use on creatures if they're in groups. If there's, say, 3 skeletons standing there in a circle, I can lull 2 of them and then pull the 3rd one single, so I don't have to get the whole group. It doesn't always work, and it sometimes aggroes all of them to you, so, you know, just be aware of that. Reckless strength, I guess I could try that one. Okay, so we got reckless strength here. I clicked it off by accident. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the flash of light, which is that binding spell. It doesn't really serve too much of a purpose, in my opinion. At this level, it's not really necessary, I guess. Maybe if I get to harder creatures, I might try using it again. But I want to see what this spell does. As you can see, it's still grayed out, even though it got memmed. That's the recast time. When you cast it, you have to wait until you can do it again. So we'll see what this does. Look at the stats. I'll have to watch again to see what that did, but it seemed like strength maybe. Either way, it's another buff, so it should go down here on the bottom with the other ones, but yeah, I'll do that. I'll get rid of that one and that one. I try to keep my stuff in order so I know what's where and it's not too complicated. But that's going to be all for this episode. Welcome to level 5, and the next episode hopefully will be the entrance to Caledon, or grouping, if I can find some people to group with. It's a little early right now. I logged on before noon, so there's, as you say, there's some people here, but not a whole lot. And I haven't even asked if anybody wanted to group, so who knows, there may be like 4 or 5 people just sitting there waiting. But thank you again for watching. If you've enjoyed these shows, please feel free to comment down below. You know, again, constructive criticism, none of the hate tweets and stuff like that that people do. I don't see a point to it. And again, if you like it, subscribe, and thank you for watching.